In today's video, we are going to talk about source code. Before we proceed with the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and turn on the notification icon so you won't miss any video. Source Code is an attractive sci-fi film of 2011. Aided by Duncan Jones, it identifies Jake Gyllenhaal as a paramilitary force, Captain Coulter Stevens, sent to the source code machine to help authorities apprehend a man who blew up a train in the city. The film uses two timelines, or rather two universal units. The high-sounding mind lives on with careful planning and leading spirit production, like Jones' previous movie Moon starring Sam Rockwell as a miner on the moon. Source Code works on the same theme of technological harassment. In his cinematic conscience, human life takes second place in the performance of great interest. Whether it's Sam Bell's clones or Cap's Stevens' body, Jones uses a dangerous interface between technology and human life beautifully. The film begins with Captain Coulter Stevens, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, wakes up on a passenger train. His strange response almost gave a sense of confusion, which he shared with the woman sitting next to him. Although she sees him as a stranger, Christina Warren, Michelle Monaghan, considers him a normal person and calls him Sean Fentress. Confused, Stevens suddenly leaves his company and runs to the laundry. To his horror, the mirror portrays him as the person Warren claims to be. Before he can accept the situation and seek explanations, a bomb explodes, killing everyone in it. Stevens gets up from the locker room, tied to a chair where a curtain sits in front of him. Captain Air Force Colleen Goodwin calls him Captain Coulter, informing him of his current condition. The description translates to Coulter's campaign, which is to continue his mission to find out who the bomber struck in Chicago, and is expected to launch another bomb. Coulter discovers that in source code, the experimental tool developed by scientist Dr. Ruddles. In the machine, he encounters the last 8 minutes of someone else's life within the timeline. Determined to work for his country, Coulter continues his work. While it takes time for Coulter to realize that stopping the bombing is not possible without identifying the attacker, he continues to follow all the leads available in the various 8-minute episodes. The story continues with an unexpected turn and instead a surprise. Coulter learns that in real life, he is equal and declared killed in action. His conscience and brain were preserved, likely for most of his body, in a secure environment. Angered by the revelation, he quickly contacted Captain Goodwin and confirmed the news. In doing so, unwittingly, Coulter persuaded Dr. Ruddles to let him die after identifying the bomber. Coulter continues his work and finally sees the bomb. After failing a couple's attempts, he successfully writes down the number of the bomb license number and confirms it with Captain Goodwin. The bomber, Derek Frost, was caught in another timeline, proving the source code to work. Dr. Ruddles, delighted with his successful test, instructs Captain Goodwin to swipe Coulter's memory and use him in source code to overcome similar situations in the future. Ruddles' rebellion leaves Goodwin trapped in trouble whether she must obey orders from Ruddles, fulfill the mission, and save the lives of thousands, or let Stevens die and see him bathe in the martyrdom he deserves. She gives Coulter another chance in his quest to try to find a solution. This time, Coulter moves with a plan to stay in this timeline forever. He subdues the threat of. At this point, Coulter comes up with a plan to stay on this timeline for good. He overcomes Foster's threat, handing him over to the authorities. Using his phone, he touches his father as a different soldier, living unilaterally the emotional moment he would never have in real life. He kisses Christina as Goodwin prepares to take Coulter out of another timeline. Despite Ruddles' tries to stop her, Goodwin succeeds in doing so, and before she can do so, Coulter successfully sends her an email, which she receives the next day at work on another timeline, in which Coulter is still trapped in neural bases. The email confirms Coulter's identity and confirms the source code test project. The source code ends with a promising note. The sequel of developments will certainly benefit from the fascinating climax that preceded it. Let us briefly review what happened. Source code proves to be a successful trial. Dr. Ruddles is more than a month old with a new program that could save the lives of millions. Captain Stevens returns to another fact. He convinces Christina to skip the job, prevent an explosion and successfully catch Frost, and hand him over to the police. He continues to kiss Christina, and as he is about to do so, the 8-minute window closes. But because the explosion does not happen, they do not die, and unexpectedly, time goes by beyond this window. Coulter lives like Sean. This is the same truth which is the opinion of Coulter's mind. Source code successfully allows Coulter to live a whole new life. Now in an email, probably the most complicated part of the conclusion was the email Stevens sent to Goodwin. The content of this post is as follows. Sometime today, you will hear of an unsuccessful terrorist attack on a passenger train close to Chicago. You and I kept that bomb going off. Attempts to detonate bombs on a CCR train outside Chicago. But it was interrupted, and the suspect was found on board, named Derek Frost. If you read this email, the source code works much better than you and Dr. Rutledge. You thought you were creating 8 minutes of the previous event, but you are not. You have created a completely new world. Goodwin, if I'm right, somewhere in the source code center you have Captain Coulter Stevens waiting to ship the equipment. Promise me you'll help him. And if you do me a favor. Tell him everything will be fine. What we hold in our hands here is the source code within the source code. It's amazing this sounds, it's true, and maybe the end of the definition. By not dying in his last 8-minute window, Captain Stevens not only gave himself a new life within his new reality, but he also built himself a new world, the same as the one without legs and arms, like Kevin, according to Michael. The email he sent to Goodwin is true of the source code, not the original world. Captain Stevens is still trapped in life support and everything is happening as it is. In the Cloud Gate show, we see Christina and Sean, not Stevens, because he is stuck in life support. The fact of the source code is the one that played the whole climax after Goodwin allowed Coulter to die. It is almost like the concept of dream establishment within a dream. This definition also raises the question, how can one have two consciences? How can one think of two different things at the same time? Source code makes it real. This view eased the fears of Dr. Rutledge and the audience when Goodwin fired Coulter. With this conclusion, Jones confirms that Coulter is fulfilling his dream of serving the country and at the same time, leading a life where he is passionate. The source concept of source code is its driving force. If you love sci-fi movies, source code is one of the things to do. Taking another truth, Hawking's view of diversity, and God is fascinating to look at and think about. Movies like Source Code are not just for fun. They are there to challenge you and entice you to think beyond the known facts of life. And they are here to promote the art of making movies. So, we've come to the end of our today's video. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to press the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Till next time.